Welcome back. I am just Shiny, and today we're gonna be watching TikTok scary stories. I'm not even gonna waste no time here. You already know what to do. Subscribe, hit the like, and ring that bell. We're just gonna dive in. Let's go.
So these are admittedly not my stories, they're my dad's stories. Just a little background on my father. He doesn't believe in ghosts at all. Not even a little. He thinks that that is made up. It's fake. And now that I've gotten that out of the way, he has experienced the scariest hauntings I've ever heard about in my life. When he was younger, I would say probably about like 9 to 13, in that age range, he had a friend that started getting into like kind of occult weird things. He started feeling a little bit uncomfortable around this friend, and he remembers two really specific incidents with this friend that made him stop hanging out with this kid. Um, one of which was they were at a river with a bunch of other boys, and they were swimming, playing as kids do. And this friend in question was in the water next to my father. And while they're playing, my dad looks up, and standing across the river at the tree line, and this is in rural Canada, like in the middle of nowhere, Canada, standing at the tree line is that friend. And he's just staring at my dad, and he just goes like this. Mind you, that kid is next to my dad at that time, so he's seeing two of them. And the other one just turns around and goes into the woods after beckoning my dad after him. I hate that story. It makes my eyes tear up. I hate that story. But my dad, being a child, still hung out with this kid. So he goes over to his house, and this kid is sitting in this big, like, lazy boy recliner chair. And he's sitting there, and he's kind of just staring at my dad while they're talking, acting super strange. And he looks at my dad and he goes, "I've been in your dreams." And as soon as he says that, my dad hears like pounding on the underside of this kid's chair. He's sitting cross-legged in his chair, not moving, and hears something beating on the underside of the chair. And this kid goes, "I've been in your dreams." And my dad, stone-faced, dead ass, looks at me and goes, "And the fucked up thing? He had been in my dreams."
Oh, hell
My father doesn't believe in ghosts. I asked him to explain these to me in like a scientific way. He goes, "I was just hallucinating." I was just having a vivid hallucination. Anyway, those are just two of my favorite little stories from my father, who swears the ghosts are not real.
Please comment below if your eyes teared up when she said that first story, because for real, I was literally thinking in my head, yo, why my eyes tearing up? Bro, there's truth to that story, because that literally made me think of, I don't know if y'all been paying attention or if y'all been present on YouTube, but Miss Noah just put out a freaking video about doppelgangers, and she definitely cussed y'all out for being upset that about the way she pronounced it. Bro, she went in. She was like, oh, you got a problem with me pronouncing honey, but I just said that story. And bruh, on Cause from Beyond, because yes, I am a Noah follower. I know a few of y'all are too. Go subscribe to her and Cause from Beyond. I was that because a lot of those callers are from North Carolina, honey, because you know. But just recently, I think it was last week. I haven't seen the one. Did I see the one from last week? No, I didn't see. No, I didn't see the one for Friday. But anyway, they just had an episode about that where this woman called in, was just like about the they were talking about how some of your enemies, like, you gotta watch who's in your dreams. No, was that Noah Akaya? Was that Noah Akaya? Y'all would know. Was that Noah Akaya? Because I follow both of them. She was talking about how yep, it was Kaya, because she was just like, why don't you just talk to me in public? You ain't gotta visit me in my dreams. Reach out to me in public if you want to talk to me. Yeah, literally was just talking about that. So honey, it was so much going on over there. What? I feel like the little boy, because he was like, he was right beside him, the little boy at the tree line was doppelganger. I already know. That's what I felt like. Comment if you felt like that too, because it was just like, and then he up in your, I guess he's in your house, and that happened. He's sitting in the chair and was like, oh yeah, I've been in your dreams, knocking on your chair and stuff. Honey, no. What was I just listening to? Was that Noah Akaya? Who was that who was just like, oh, when you're in a dream, don't let them know that you're in a dream. Don't let the people in your dream know that you're in a dream because they'll start turning against you, and they had the dream police. Bro, I be watching so much YouTube. Like literally, that's all. I don't really even watch TV anymore. I just started back watching Girlfriends, and honey, that first episode, I was like, why did I like this? And then the season went on, I was like, oh yeah, this is why I like this. So yeah, when I'm not watching Girlfriends now, Love is Blind UK, we're watching YouTube. We're watching YouTube. So yeah, honey, too much is going on, and you made the right decision, not being a friend anymore. Talking about, oh yeah, I will leave in that stuff. I was just me being the Lulu. Lulu ain't here, boo. This was weird. This was real life. Like,
Okay, so the story I'm about to tell is why I will never touch a Ouija board. When I was in elementary school, I went to a friend's sleepover party for her birthday. It was me, her, a few of our mutual friends, and a few of her friends who I didn't know personally. The house that my friend lived in was kind of old, dark, a little bit far out from the city, but not completely isolated, but still kind of creepy. So this was back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So while we're having this sleepover, we're playing all of those games that we used to play back then. So we played Light as a Feather, we played Bloody Mary, and we just sat around telling ghost stories in the dark. All of that was fine. Nothing out of the ordinary happened while we were doing that. So after we get done with those games, I hear one of her friends talking to some of the other girls, and she's asking them like, oh, should I do it? Do you want to see it? Should we try it? And it turns out that she brought a Ouija board, and she was trying to see if anybody else wanted to try it out with her. So for context, while I was growing up, had some paranormal experiences, or at the very least experiences that I can't explain. And so for me, I prefer to just stay away from anything like that. I didn't like to engage. So the fact that all of my friends were trying to, mess around with the Ouija board was making me really uncomfortable. So they placed the Ouija board on the floor, and then everyone who was going to play sat down in a circle around the Ouija board. Everyone participated except for myself and one other girl. So since I wasn't participating, I sat down on an armchair that was right in front of where they were sitting on the floor. And then the other girl, who was also not participating, she sat on an armchair off to my left. And her armchair had its back to my friend's sliding glass door that led out to her deck. All of the lights were off in the room that we were playing in. Pretty much all the lights, in that entire floor were off. The only thing that was on was the TV, and the TV was on just in the background on mute, and everything else again was just pitch black dark. So the girls who were playing start asking it questions, like silly stuff, like, oh, who am I gonna marry? Am I gonna be rich? Stuff like that. So everything was going fine, and then all of a sudden, one of the girls slams her hand down on the board and says in this kind of, I don't know, strange voice. It was still her voice, but it just, the tone was a little off. She slams her hand down and she says, you guys are doing it wrong. You're supposed to say hello first. Don't be rude. And so everyone looks at her like, wow, what a weirdo. But they went ahead and listened to her anyway. So they started over, they said hello, and then they started asking new questions. At this point, they're asking these questions. The planchette is moving. They start arguing over who's actually moving it and, whatever. While this is happening, all of a sudden, the hairs on my arms and the back of my neck start pricking. And I look up at where the TV is. Next to the TV, off to the right, was a hallway. The hallway was dark because, again, all the lights are off. The hallway is dark, but the entrance to the hallway is right next to the TV. And so what I see there is a silhouette, a pitch black, dark silhouette of what appears to be a person. And I was so freaked out, but I couldn't look away. I was staring at it, and I thought maybe that's just her dad. And so I'm looking for any sign that this figure that I'm looking at is her dad. But the problem is that her dad had kind of long, scraggly hair that was like, it would show off over here. So he also had a fairly thick beard. So if that was her dad, I still would have been able to see from the shadow silhouette his hair and his beard. This figure had nothing. It was an outline and nothing else. I also couldn't feel, I don't know if any of you have experienced this. If you have, please let me know, because this is the strangest thing I've ever seen. I didn't get that feeling of recognition that you get when you're looking at another human. Even if you don't know the person, you at least intuitively know that you're looking at a human being. I did not get that from this figure that I was looking at. So while I'm staring at this thing, and I don't even know how long I was staring at it, the same girl who slammed her hand down, all of a sudden, projectile vomits all over the board. And obviously, as soon as she does it, everyone who is sitting around the board screams and scatters away from the board. Everyone's staring at her, including me. That broke my concentration. So I'm staring at her, and she kept her head down, looking at the board after she vomited. And she says in this like almost whisper tone, oh, it freaks me out. I said, "Don't be rude." So at that point, I hear the bedroom door to where my friend's dad was sleeping open. I hear him walking down the hall, and I see him coming from where the figure was standing. And when I watched him do that, I knew for a fact that was not her dad that I saw standing there. And I know that because, again, like I said earlier, you would be able to see his hair, you'd be able to see his beard as part of his shadow. So needless to say, I did not sleep a wink that night. I don't think anyone else did either. I never went back to her house, and I 100% will never touch a Ouija board.
Honey, it was so much. It was so much. First of all, I remember as a youngin', we didn't have sleepovers like that. That wasn't a thing. We didn't play those games. We didn't tell those stories. The only time we told scary stories was when we were camping out. When I was in Girl Scouts and we would go camping, and at night we'll have those big bonfires with everybody there, all the girls and everything, and we'll be trying to tell scary stories. And I was never good at it. I was never good at it because I never had any life experiences, and we're gonna keep it that way. Now, knowing, hearing from all the y'all's experience and all of their experiences, follow these creators, I have something to say. I have something to work off of. I can tell a scary story now at a bonfire, but who's going in the woods now? Who's going in the woods at night? Who is? Not I. No. So, Fred, yeah, so much happened because, honey, you knew better. The moment old girl threw her head down like that, that was a character flaw. That was not her. That was not her. That was a red flag. That was the first sign that's whatever that was, whatever was in the doorway was right there. Let y'all know, this is not how y'all do. Y'all put some respect on my name, honey, before I show up and show out. Honey, no, stop it. Because you knew. And did anyone else feel like low-key, like it was worse if it was her dad there standing there? Like, I felt that sense of, ooh, that's a little worse. Is it not? Sitting in the doorway unannounced, watching, little girls, okay, we're there, because that's, So, yeah, Fred, the moment you saw that and you was just looking, I don't, girl, I would have exit stage left. Over there behind old girl with the sliding doors, I would have left. I think I would have just kept on running. I don't, because no, it wasn't her dad. And then you see her dad come towards you. That wasn't her dad. We know this. We know that was whatever then took over old girl, because why she throwing up now? We know why she throwing up. Then took over old girl, took over the dad. It was just too much going on. Like, first of all, why do we stay there? Like, I would have immediately been on the phone calling my mom, like, Mom, you gotta come get me. It's some stuff going on, and I cannot stay here. Like, no. So kudos to you, friend, for getting out there, but it's a little too You should have been up out of there. The moment they pulled out the board, I would have been like, "Ma, I gotta go. They doing some foolishness." The moment I would have told my mother what they did, what they done pulled out, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no, I think I would have been out before that because y'all playing those other games. What is that feather? Nope, I don't even want to know. I've never heard about no feather game. Never, never. So the moment they started playing these games, suggested that we're playing those games because I remember in our sleepovers, we were singing Pink. We were singing Britney Spears. We was doing Dance Dance Revolution. Like we were doing other things that were just not that. We wasn't there. We were having fun. Not scaring at ourselves,
I was about 8 years old when I woke up in the dead of the night to a ghost standing next to me in bed. She was a little girl and she had a mess of blonde curly hair and a white pinafore dress. And she said, "You need to go check on Mom. She's not okay." And it scared me. And I jumped out of bed and literally ran right through her to meet my brother, who was 11 years older. So he was about 19, 20 years old at the end of the stairs. And he's like, "What are you doing up?" And I told him, and he said, "That's really weird because I just had a dream of that same little girl telling me that I needed to check on Mom and that she would be okay." And we both ran into my mom's bedroom. She was doubled over in her bathroom having a miscarriage. We got her to the hospital. She was bleeding quite heavily. And they said that if we hadn't gotten her to the hospital, that she likely would have died. But it gets a little bit even weirder after that. It was several years after that that I ended up having a dream with this same little girl in it. My brother, who was now living very far away, had a dream with this same little girl in it. And it was again a forewarning with regards to our mom. And so my brother called me and said, "Did you have the dream?" And I said, "I did." And he said, "You need to check on Mom right now." And so I did. And she had attempted to take her life. And I got her to the hospital in time. We sort of believe that that little girl was the child that she miscarried, but had to take on the job of being my mom's guardian angel. I haven't seen her since. So that's my ghost story or my angel story. And it's completely true.
I love that we ended it on that note. Like, love that because that was my first thought. Like, oh, her guardian angel is her baby. Oh, so y'all see that cat? That cat had me. That cat was like, "You better tell a ghost story, bitch." That cat was all up in like, "You saw what?" Like, and that cat was in my mind. Like that cat was doing what I was thinking. Like funny. But yeah, friend, I'm glad that was there. Like, cause it's just like, okay, it's coming to you and your brother. Like, oh no, no, no. If I can't get you, I gotta get you. Like, we gotta save Mom. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like yes, that was definitely that baby. And she was just because they say we have more lives, we have multiple lives. So maybe that was her in another life. That was the age that she was in another life, or whatever happened in another life. And she grew up. She actually was born in the other life. Like that is so sweet. That was a touching story. Subscribe.